class and how do you invite people to it? What if I just told you I suck at it? Like, I still feel like I suck at it. I still feel like she's great at a large class. She just loves lots of people,
But I don't like one-on-one.
She is great at educating. They're both like, they can do classes. I like you as like one person. I mean, yeah. So I'm really good at just one or two people because I love to ask questions. I want to know what your needs are and how I can meet them. So I don't do good whenever I have 25 people or 8 people because I want to know what all their needs are. And then no one's need gets met because I just answered 8 different questions. So you have to find out who you are, how you fit. A lot of people are really good on just doing it on social media. They can just do a Zoom, they can do a Facebook, they can do it however. I like to sit with one person and just find out what their needs are. Do they have hormone needs? Have they had babies? Because I know some childbirth.
Right.
Lori does not want to talk.
Sorry, mamas, I don't like childbirth.
All things vaginas are my class. It's my jam. It's my jam. I love to talk about all the health and wellness and birth and all of that. That's not welcome in a large class.
So how do you do one-on-one? Because I'm still not good at one-on-one.
I'm just going to sit and say, oh my gosh, how can I serve you?
And it can be anywhere. Coffee shop, dining room table.
It can be a
Playground.
gynecologist. I mean, if you're just laying there waiting for your exam, I'm there. I'm ready to talk, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You had to take me out of the room when you're birthing.
So it really is about asking questions on finding out what they need versus what you want to tell them.
100%. I used to try to tell people all of the information I had. Maybe they don't want lavender. Maybe they don't want thieves. Maybe they just want to up their libido. Maybe they don't care about libido and they just want to take care of their kids. So it's literally, for me, it's finding out what each person's need is and meeting them there. And I can do that on one-on-one because I can sit there with you for 30 minutes and you can tell me everything. And then I can say, you know what, whenever I was in that position, this is what I did. If it was me, this is what I would do. And then I do the same thing she did teach us to say, are you ready to get started? Are you ready to go ahead and get started? Did you want to get that to support good libido? Did you want to get that to support your emotions? What does it feel like to be postpartum? I can relate to that. I know what that's like. And so I meet people where they're at, an individual or two. I meet them where they're at. I get them started. I let them try the product. Say, try it for 3 or 4 months. Are you willing to try it for 3 or 4 months? See if this helps you. And I'm in touch with them for 3 or 4 months. I will say, some of you are not going to like this. My style is not your style because it takes me a long time to grow the business because I'm literally doing it one at a time. But I'm showing them how to do it one at a time. I'm also showing them that there's other people that can do it different. There's other people that enjoy doing it in large classes. But what I've learned is that 1 or 2 people sitting in a coffee shop, sitting around a table, I meet their needs. I show them what I would do. Does that help? Does that make sense to y'all?
It does make sense. And that is super effective because used to, for me, it was the size of the class that determined the success. That if I didn't have 15, 20, 25 people in a class, it wasn't successful. And I don't know how many times in the beginning I would call you and go, 1 person showed up, 2 people showed up. Oh my gosh. Nobody showed up but the hostess. What I have learned is if the only person who's there is the hostess, that's fantastic.
Train
that hostess needs one-on-one time with you. So there's no perfect size class. It's what you feel comfortable with doing. And I don't mind one-on-ones and I don't mind big classes, but I think my sweet spot is to have a dining room table of 4, 5, 6 people and you're just sitting around. There's some energy there. You get to talk a little bit. There's a tip that it's all about asking questions too and finding out what they need and what they want to know versus me just throwing up a bunch of information on them. So I can come in and say to them, and I learned this from Dana, I have a presentation prepared. If this is what you want to hear, then I'm going to give you the information. But I would rather want to know what you want to know right now. What do you want to know tonight? What is pressing in your life? What's going on? If they don't talk to you and you don't get any information, then I start in with what I have.
You're also good, Lori, though, I'm not a big DIY person. I don't do crafty stuff, but she knows how to actually sit and work with your hands and have people doing stuff with their hands while she's educating them, which is cool. So you're able to do that.
A roller bottle class where you provide a few little beautiful crystals and stones or dried flowers. You provide the roller bottles, which you can get all on Amazon super inexpensively. I'm sure we can give you links to that. But you sit there and talk to them about oils. What oils go good together? Let them make something they can take with them. And the whole time I have my starter kit sitting there, and I keep referring back to it. Hey, this starter kit, this is the one I've got. I like to take the question of the cost out of it at the beginning. And I say, I have $400 worth of product right here in this starter kit for $165, and I have one. So the first person who gets it, gets it. First come, first serve.
You know what? Sometimes at the very beginning, they tell you, this is too much. This costs too much. And so I don't continue the class. If it's too much, I'm not going to try to talk you into it.
Right, no. It's
right?
not a game of convincing.
For years, I spent time trying to convince people to do it. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I'm not going to try to get you to spend your money. There are 7 billion other people. She can convince you.
You will be opening your wallet and throwing her credit cards at the end of the
I don't know what it is. It's scary. It works. She makes it happen. Why don't you tell us now?
I will tell you one little tip that I do have if you've got a class, because one-on-one you can ask a lot of intimate questions, but sometimes even in a group of 4 or 5 people, they don't want to talk. So just have some note cards with you, plain note cards, hand them out at the beginning, put your name, address, contact information on the front. On the back, give me 3 things that your health and wellness goals. What are 3 of your health and wellness goals? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to sleep? Do you want to reduce your stress? Do you want better sex? Do you want whatever? And I will look at those quickly and try to address that in the class if somebody doesn't want to answer that, or ask that out loud. But also, if I don't cover everything, it gives me a fantastic way and reason to follow up with that person after the class. So you follow-ups key.
We have our ways that work, and then she has like the unicorn way. So
tell us the unicorn way.
I'm unicorn in all of life, so that's okay. But I do want to say, every one of us, no matter how we teach or how many we teach, we all close.
Yes.
That is the biggest issue I have seen with more people while I've been in building Young Living, is you give all of this great information, you ask great questions, you find out what they need, and you share with them the possibilities, and then you tell them, just contact me if I can help you any further, or let me know if you need anything. And everybody goes and drinks their coffee and has their snack and goes home. And then 3 days later or 3 months later, one of those people is at the park with a stranger, and that stranger starts talking to them about Young Living and asks them, are you ready to get started? I can show you how right now. And you wonder why they enrolled with a stranger when you taught them a whole class.
It's connecting the dots, right? So most people cannot connect the dots with you being the person they can get it from.
So let me say, this is what my coach taught me years ago. I'm going to interject the unicorn. Do not be afraid to ask.
No.
It's just like when you go to a restaurant and the server offers you a cup of coffee. She's not married to the cup of coffee. She just wants to know if you want it. So sometimes we get attached to the idea and we get married to it. Instead, it's just our job to offer the coffee. It's also our job to offer the coffee after the meal because maybe they just didn't want it before the meal.
Yes.
So we're offering it. We're not attached to the coffee. It's just our responsibility to offer it. Now, if they've said 7 times, no, thank you, I don't drink coffee, you stop. But otherwise, you just say, maybe they're just not a coffee drinker, or maybe they're not a pre-lunch coffee drinker. So you just offer the coffee. So you're offering it, but I am not attached to the outcome. My feelings aren't attached to it. Do I want to make a sale? Absolutely. But they didn't say no to the coffee or no to the oil. They weren't saying no to me. Does that make sense? They were just saying no.
Basically saying not now.
Yeah.
People come to my house and I'll offer them, would you like a sandwich? It's noon. Would you like a sandwich? No, I'm not hungry. Okay, you heard that? I'm not hungry. People change when they're hungry. So we visit for an hour or 2 later and I say, are you hungry now? You want a sandwich? Yeah, I think I do. Some people will go for hours and then they'll come back another day and they'll eat my sandwich. Well, it's the same way with this. If they don't want these products, when I ask them the first time, are you ready to get started? I can help you do that right now. Have you noticed I've used exactly the same words every time? I've used those words thousands of times. Are you ready to get started? I can show you how right now. I can help you.
That's so unassuming too. It's not offensive at all. That's just a simple question.
I don't think so. Okay, then we go on with something else. And then later, I'll say, okay, we've been talking about this for 2 hours. Are you ready to get started now?
2 hours, shoot me.
Well, if they're visiting with me. Sometimes
She has them locked in the basement and they're gonna get started.
Okay, you're gonna really like this because sometimes I tell them, we've been talking about this for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It just keeps coming up. Are you ready to get started now? Because now they may be hungry. They weren't hungry before. Now they're ready to make changes in their life. Don't forget to close.
Don't forget to close, and don't forget that even if you offered the close, they may not accept it. We will share with you guys continually on From Our View because it took me 8 years to say yes.
Oh, it took me a long time to say yes too.
They
It
made
took-
fun
it
of
took-
me.
Oh, and I make fun of Dana all the time because she literally, I said, how much is that starter kit so I can shut you up? Like that was finally after like probably a full year of her sharing oils with me. I was like, oh gosh, I just need to get this
No,
done.
I bought some for my daughter, and I didn't know she didn't like the smell, so she threw them away. So don't think because somebody's not ready now, they're not going to be ready
Right.
tomorrow or 6 months or 4 years from now.
Okay, so that's the class. Different sizes, different angles, different ways we teach. How do you get that person, how do you get a person in the seat in front of you? How do you invite someone to your
I
class?
ask them, will you come? Sometimes
But do you put it blanket invitation on Facebook and expect 20
Oh, no.
people to show up?
You have to ask personally.
you have to ask, well, you can do an invitation on social media, but people need it personalized.
Yes.
And people need reminders, like to show up. So, and they're going to cancel at the last minute too. I love to cancel. So some people just enjoy canceling. And so, but that doesn't mean they don't want it. It just means that they didn't want it right then. Something came up. But you have to intentionally ask people. And if your circle, say you're asking Sally and Jim, and they're the only ones that you're ever inviting to your class, that's going to get annoying. You need to broaden your circle. So I'm forever
A few more.
forever looking for new people to talk to, just in general. My kids all go to different schools. You know, we find new ways to find people. And so you have to be personal. You have to ask them, hey.
But you said something that's very important. You said Sally and Jim. I need everybody to understand, if you have a lot of women show up to a class, whether it's a Zoom class or it's a class in your living room, if you have a lot of women, most of them are going to say, you know, I need to go home and talk to my husband about this. I'll get back with you. But if you have Sally and Jim together, they're a couple, Jim's going to say, we need this. And I think we need this and this to go with it. I think we need all of it. How many women go to the grocery store to buy 3 things, but when their husband goes to buy those 3 things with them, the cart is full? If you want a successful business, include the spouses, include those husbands, because they're the ones that are going to say, yeah, let's do this. They're not going to say, I need to go talk about
they're
life.
interested in.
And listen, very often I do put out on social media, hey, I'm teaching a class at noon on Zoom. If you want to join me, you're more than welcome. Guys, that is more just an advertisement for my business and connecting me with Young Living again. That is not any expectation for me to think that people are actually going to show up to that class because of that invitation.
Yeah.
So don't mistake that. It is a personal invitation. If you do not take the time to take your invitation and send it personally via text, email, whatever you want to, with a personal note, then that person's not going to know that hey, I really want you there, Dana. I really want you there. We're going to talk about something you and I talked about last week. I think it's going to make a difference for you. Make it personal.
Hope this helps you guys. Anything else?
I think that's
Do you
it
wanna
from
come to our
our
class?
view. You want to come?